Yes, everyone. It's Quincy Tokozo, and yeah, it's another day today. It's been kind of a long day today. Um, yeah, I was gonna touch on a subject, but with something else that just happened in Manchester, I just thought I'd just kind of merge it all together. Yeah. Um, yeah, I just seen that there's been like random attack stabbing. They've already arrested a man in Manchester, and obviously this person he's gone into Starbucks and just went on a rampage basically. Started stabbing people. So hopefully everyone who got injured is in full recovery and their family is not going through too much at this time. But yeah, I hope everyone is safe and they're not really that affected as bad as they could be. But it just got me thinking, like, we're in this mental health week. Basically, do we realize how many people around us are suffering from mental health? Do you know what I mean? Because there's different shades of mental health, different levels of mental health. When we perceive mental health, we perceive it as the man down the road who's maybe walking down the road and he smells and he's just like a tramp and XYZ. But I'm telling you right now, yeah, I know people. I probably even got friends who got mental health. Do you know what I mean? But some people, they they're good at hiding it. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes they might not even be good at hiding it. It's just that you're so blinded by maybe the clothes or the car or the watch or the chain. Do you know what I'm saying? And I'm reckon if you ask some of these women that these guys go out with, they could tell you that, you know what, these guys do show sides of having mental health. Do you know what I mean? So I can imagine how it is for some women as well when they end up getting involved in a guy that's got mental health and what they must go through behind the scenes with that person. You know what I mean? We'll see him out on the street and think, yeah, he's on stuff, he's got a car, he's got a rollie, bloody bloody. But then behind closed doors, it's a madness. Do you know what I'm saying? So just because a guy's got certain things or looks a certain way, or even might even have paper, it doesn't mean that the guy has got mental health. And like I said, because we equate those things with success, we don't really realize how much people are suffering around us and blocking it out. Do you know what I mean? Even some people that go to the gym too much, they're blocking it out because that's the only way they can deal with their mental health. Even some people that are religious, they're blocking out their mental health. That's the only way they can cope. There's different shades of this thing, different levels. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, how do we, how do we, how do we show more care and compassion for our fellow people around us without being so intrusive? Because like when you're trying to be intrusive into someone else's life, it's like they reject you straight away anyway. Do you know what I mean? You ask a man, is he all right? He's like, what do you mean? What's wrong? What? That's the kind of response you get from people where we live. Do you know what I mean? And I know people around where we live in the conditions that we live and the things that we've been exposed to, it's easier for us to have mental health. Do you know what I mean? But it's harder for anyone to admit it. It's like the only time that you realize it is when you see them walking on the street. Do you know what I mean? Or when they just attack someone randomly for no reason. So it's just like, I don't know. Maybe I can just pull it out to you. Like, how do we show compassion, or even not even compassion, but how do we show more concern for the people around us to be more aware if they have mental health, regardless of thinking? Because there's probably rappers that got mental health. Do you know what I mean? And they rap to block it out. That's the only way they stay sane. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised at all. I'm not calling anyone's name. I'm just saying, I'm sure there is rappers out there that's got mental health, but you won't realize they got mental health because you can't have a proper conversation with them like we're having right now. You don't really hear them talk to a certain extent. You see them babbling on the live about some nonsense, probably some beef or what girl they fucked or what I mean. Just the regular stuff, throwing up some money or do you know what I mean? But how do we know that's not deep signs of mental health? Do you know what I mean? Because for me, rapping about everything you do and you're doing crime, ain't that mental health? Ain't that mental health in itself? Because I know when I was really deep in this thing, there's no way I could have been making a tune about what I'm doing. No way, 'cause I'll be doing serious stuff. So for me to be able to think that I can go on the mic and say that, there has to be some kind of mental health issue involved. I think so. Like, what makes you think you can do that? And then you go to the police station and you say no comment. But you just told them everything you need to tell them on a track or on your Insta Live or on your Snapchat. Like, then that's a sign of mental health. And why, that's another thing. Why do these youths nowadays think it's clever to do that? And how comes their friends around them don't tell them, yo, bro, you can't be doing that? And then they allow them to go to jail and then say, yo, yeah, free the G's. I don't understand. So basically, what is man doing it for? For diamond rings, for watches? Because that is no trade for your freedom. None whatsoever. So in my mind, people that do this thing, they go on the road, they make money, they buy jewels, and then they go and talk about everything they do, how they get it on the track. Right? We're not saying that there's some rappers out there that don't do nothing, but they do talk like they do it. We're not talking about them. We're talking about the ones that really do it. Have those guys got mental health? Or we're just seeing that they ain't got mental health because they look successful? Need to think about that one, man. You know what I mean? And why mental health is strikes a chord in me as well, because obviously my dad, yeah, not my stepdad, my real dad, I ain't known him all my life, innit? And when I came out of prison, maybe the last few years, obviously he was in a halfway house with other patients, yeah, and I used to visit him and bring him food. We used to go out, go for walks, go for drives. You know what I mean? Bring him to the cash point so he could get some money for himself. You know what I mean? Just make him feel normal, bring him to the shops that he would like to go to. Stuff like that. But more time, he just want to sit at home and watch TV. And I used to do that sometimes. And I used to fall asleep on the settee and wake up a couple of hours later on and, have Christmas dinner sitting around with him on the table, stuff like that. You know what I mean? But my relationship wasn't really fulfilling because my dad don't really talk. Do you know what I mean? But sitting in there and seeing the other people in there and even speaking to the staff, you really know what mental health is really about. Do you know what I mean? It's not just like walking past a person on the road and you see them mad, you walk across the road. Like, I sat in it, you know what I mean? I sat in it and saw the personalities of these people. Do you know what I mean? And didn't judge them. Do you know what I mean? Even bought food for them when I came to bring my dad his food. Do you know what I mean? It's just like after getting my dad known to my dad for a while and getting a bit better, all of a sudden I got a phone call saying that, oh, your dad stabbed another patient to death. And I was very surprised because the person he was talking about, I've sat down at a table with them and they've just ate their food and, passed words to each other normally. No, not aggressive at all. Do you know what I mean? And then obviously they said that my dad has killed this guy allegedly, and now my dad's doing life imprisonment. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like, obviously I know that he had a certain mental illness, but he was not showing no signs of even making a move like that. Do you know what I mean? Even though I was already in that environment. A question is why would they even have knives in an environment like that? But that's another story. I'm not even here to speak about his case. But it's just like, what are the signs? Because even if he spoke to the staff, they said that he was the nicest, one of the nicest and most compliant people in there. So if I didn't even expect that from my dad, how are we supposed to know who's got the mental health out there? Because obviously when I'm sitting in the house with them, I'm fully aware they do have mental health. But when you're in the big wide world and you're busy and you're not even focused on anything, the only people you can see are mad are the obvious ones. When really your brethren might be going through, your brethren might be mad. Well, I wouldn't say mad, mental health. You know what I mean? But he's hiding it. He's got a line and he's collecting money, but you don't know that's what's keeping him sane. Or he's got a good job and he works hard every day. You don't know how he is when he goes back home. You know what I mean? So I just want to know, how do we be more caring to the people around us? And having a conversation where a man doesn't feel offended. Because how do you say, bro, I think you might be suffering with mental health? Even if you saw the signs, how do you go about that? You know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's something to think about, man. Like all the responses will be welcome in the messages. We can get to the bottom of this, man, or at least, you know, have a conversation about it so we can kind of help each other with a certain way of trying to sort this out. We won't always sort it out, but you know, at least help the situation a bit. But yeah, it's Quincy to Kozo. And yeah, peace.